Nestam Prakash Vittanala. Thanks for joining to this live session. In this live session, the exclusive topic is LCNF, low cost natural farming. And in the beginning of this session, I will take some time to explain what is this LCNF, how it works, what exactly the natural process behind it, and on what basis it is formulated, and what are the aims on formulating this LCNF. You name it as gardening method or farming method, it is a natural farming method, and how it is different from existing all natural farming methods. And then later I will open a time slot for all of you to ask your questions. Yes, I know you are thinking about how we will ask you questions. You have a chat window in this. If you are new in using this YouTube live session, you have a chat window and you can type your question there. While I am explaining on LCNF, you can type it down in the chat window, and then once I open the Q&A session time slot, you can just click on post. Okay. Sometimes I might miss your question. Then please remind me by retyping it or reposting it again. If any technical issues are there, then only I might miss your message or question in your message. Otherwise, I will try my level best to cover all the questions. Even after that, still if you feel, or if I miss your question to be answered, you have we have our WhatsApp groups. If you are there, you can just type there. Otherwise, request us to add you into that WhatsApp group. And of course, this live session video will be in our library, which is nothing but YouTube channel Prakriti Nestam. Under this video, you can ask your question as part of comment as well. I don't take time to encourage you guys to encourage you guys to subscribe, share, like, those all things, because it is not just a YouTube channel, it is a library. So if you feel like it is useful for your friends, it is up to you whether you want to. But anytime if you are a subscriber, you will get a notification of such kind of live sessions. You can use that facility to get you reminders of any future live sessions or future videos added into our library. Good. So always in my live sessions, there is a forward or a good statement to be helpful to the society. So today's message from me is: knowledge is divine. Knowledge, if you share your knowledge, if you try to share your knowledge level will go or will be improved. That I believe strongly. And it reminds you what you know while you are trying to share your knowledge. It reminds you what you know, what you are good at it, and it helps you to know what you have to learn as well. I'm enjoying that, and of course, giving is always a great feeling, right? So, so knowledge. Please keep sharing your knowledge, gain more knowledge, right? So LCNF. Before getting just into LCNF, what I would say is most of the natural farming methods look like same. You can say all of the natural farming methods look like the same. Why? It is natural farming. So what happens in nature, if we mimic that nature into our style of growing plants or farming, is nothing but natural farming. So what is the uh, behind the scene or behind technology or terminology about natural farming we need to know before going into our low-cost natural farming. So anytime plants grow, we see shoots only, then they become into branches, then small sub branches, then leaves. Yeah, and these leaves, with the help of sunrise, yeah, energy from sun, taking carbon dioxide from the air and water and nutrients supplied from the roots, they go through a process called photosynthesis, and by in that process they produce carbohydrates, sugars, you can say simply. So they take water, they take water from ground, they take carbon dioxide from air or atmosphere, and when it is sunny, they take energy from sun rays, and this process happens, right? So what we see is a trunk or a stem with branches and then sub branches and then leaves. Once they are grown, they try to reproduce in terms of flowers and pods, right? Ultimately, their goal is to reproductive, means reproduce their gene in terms of seeds. Okay, but where the water and the nutrient comes from the root, which are not visible, right? They are in soil. Okay, so there is a term called respiration through which it works as what do you call, anti-gravity, sorry. Through this respiration, water from ground through the hairline tubes in the roots, it the respiration process takes water till the top node of the tree in unidirection, right? In nature, if we are a farmer and we are doing this so-called chemical based farming, we are giving chemical nutrients, chemical fertilizers, and that is taken through, along with the water through roots. But what in nature, we don't do that, right? Nature has no farmer actually in a forest. So there, the friends of plants are nothing but the microbiology in the soil, which are nothing but microbes, microorganisms. Okay, so some of the micro life we are visible to us, which are nothing but, just a simple example is earthworms, whereas microbes are not visible to us, but they are existing, provided we leave them unaltered from the nature and give them some shelter in the form of mulching. Okay, so these microbes at the root level, they are friends with plants, and plant gives them carbohydrates. Microbes live on sugars, carbohydrates, and then these microbes give nutrients. They go deep into the soil and make the crystallized minerals and vitamins or minerals into water soluble, and they bring them to the root level. So this giving and taking relationship is called symbiotic relationship. This symbiotic relationship is the key point behind the scene works, or natural farming works behind. So this symbiotic relationship is same in all the natural farming, because nature happens that only. There is no other alternative. For that reason, you see any natural farming is same. But what is the difference between different natural farmings? In nature, this relationship, these microbes inoculation in the soil and plant growth from a seed, all would be done very naturally. Whereas in our farming or terrace gardening or kitchen gardening, backyard gardening, in everywhere, we are the mediators, or we are the helpers to get this symbiotic relationship through one of the processes available. That process is different between two, or between the natural farming methods. And all the natural farming methods say your soil is dead because of the chemical farming. If you use chemical fertilizers and pesticides, definitely the microorganisms go die, and subsequently, or your soil also is dead. If life is not there, it is dead. So to again bring life into your soil where your plants are intended to go, you have to inoculate that soil with good microorganisms. So the inoculation, to inoculate that, one or the other microbial liquid you have to give. One or the other microbial liquid you have to give. And then to sustain with this, you have to keep giving microbe, or to keep giving microbial liquid to get the life sustained in a sustainable manner. So to do that, You name whatever the natural farming you might have heard about. I have practiced more than 15, more than 21 actually. Slight difference in each. I have studied, I have researched 21 practically. I'm not a qualified botany person. I'm an IT, information technology guy, but I'm a heart at farmer. So you you name whatever the natural farming method it is. The primary thing is to make your soil live. Means inoculate microbial life into the soil and get them living happily to work for us by giving nutrients to plants, and they work for themselves as well to get carbohydrates from plants. Ultimately the yield is taken by us, so they are working for us, either plant or microorganism. Cool. The different ways are there. That is nothing but different ways of natural farming. So you may ask me one question, that if already existing natural farming methods are there, why do you bother about another new method? Yeah. Yes. When I practiced practically, when I in my research, when I practice practically, I've taken one. I'm not naming it because people might think like it is naming and shaming. So nothing. Every natural farming is a great natural farming method until and unless they practice well. I know as I have formulated, I know the pain and uh, issues of formulating one method. So I respect all the any natural farming method because it needs a lot of efforts, time, money as well. Yeah. So when I tried, I never wanted to formulate one, but when I tried each one, I have a habit of proving it or testing it first and use it on my own, or you work it on my own. If it is succeeded, or if I succeeded, or if it is a success, I evangelate that to many people. That was what I was. So in that, so ultimate goal is to help farmer. That was what my goal was. So I did Go Adharit one, I did Bakashi type, I did Korean natural farming, I did Jadam, I did vermicompost based, I did only compost based, only kitchen compost based. Almost so many, whatever you might have heard by now. One or two might be missing from my list, but almost every natural farming method I tried. I I researched in depth when I find this is more worth. So while practicing it for my research, I started noting down what is great thing on this, what is gap in it, or what is the room for improvement in this natural farming method. So then I put some criteria to note it down. One is time spending or efforts. What sort of efforts we have to put for following a particular natural farming? Time, cost, and then what is the yield we get? You guys might have heard about natural farming, or simply say organic farming. First 3 years we don't get anything, or first 3 years we have to wait. Then onwards it goes well. Means yields won't be there. And then that is true in some natural farming methods. And it is also true, like mixing of preparation, input preparations in particular natural farming. Every day, 3 times we have to keep mixing in clockwise. If we miss that process or activity on that particular day, the effect of or the outcome of that particular liquid would be reduced. So efforts are there, especially when we try to engage an employee, a farming helper. They will say, yes, I have done, without doing it. Ultimate losers way. Okay, so efforts. And then many of natural farming methods using jaggery is highly expensive. Not only expensive, but also whether it is chemical grown, chemical based farming grown, or while preparation of that jaggery, chemicals used, processed. These all things we can't make sure there is no chemical in it. So one is effort, another one is cost. Again, waiting for long years, at least 3 years, for getting right level of yield. So these three aspects I always consider in researching while practicing any natural farming methods. I did that. So finally, most of them, are almost all of them, proven in such a way that either these three are true, or at least two are true. So I told myself 5 years ago, okay, let's see, with all of these knowledge, how do we formulate? How can I formulate one such method for myself to satisfy by coming out of higher efforts, means reducing the efforts to do that, cost, try to get zero cost, but nothing is zero anytime. At least small penny you have to put. So that's where low cost. And then the ultimate goal is to gain high yield from the first crop. That is what my aim. That is what the result for my hard work in terms of formulating this LCNF, low cost natural farming. While formulating or while trying to do this, I never thought of a name. What I thought was these three aspects have to be met. These are the aims or goals: less cost, less efforts, high yields. Now, let's talk about how it is possible. How it is possible. I don't want to use jaggery anymore. But for microbes, anytime you need carbs to have your microbes, indigenous microbes, active and reproducing themselves, because 6 7 days they die. So you have to get them replicate and be active and help plants. So I avoided using jaggery. I started thinking about what is there in our, see, basically sugars we need to give them to get activated. So how we make them activated? Sugars, carbohydrates we have to give. Those carbohydrates are available not only in jaggery or refined sugar. Those carbohydrates are in your cooked rice, in any starch based tubers like potatoes, sweet potatoes. But for us, rice, especially less graded rice, is less expensive, and that cooked rice. For household purpose, any family in household has some or the other quantity of, like, one handful or one two hands full cooked rice, boiled rice left over every day or once in a while in a week. That itself is sufficient to make liquid fertilizers and pesticides in low cost natural farming in our to follow in our terrace garden or back garden. Excuse me. Not feeling well today, so please bear with my throat. Okay. So what is the different way in our low cost natural farming I have formulated is, and most of the natural farming methods follow aerobic or use aerobic microbes. In microorganism, two types of microbes are there: aerobic microbes, anaerobic microbes. Aerobic microbes need oxygen. Anaerobic microbes, they can live with oxygen, without oxygen as well. So most of the natural farming methods are depending on this aerobic, and they won't go in depth in soil because they need oxygen. They want to be in the top surface only. Anaerobic microbes, they go very deep because they can survive without oxygen as well. So they go very deep, and more minerals and nutrients are available inside the soil layers, in the subsoil layer, where plant roots can't go always, or every plant can't penetrate its roots there. Big trees they may do, okay, but even if after they penetrate there, these friends have to be there to change their crystality to water soluble state. Okay, so I use anaerobic. Now if we are using aerobic, any liquid fertilizer we make, or any liquid microbial liquid, any natural farming method, you need to keep stirring twice or thrice a day. Whereas I'm using aerobic or anaerobic microbes, don't need to keep stirring. One time you set up your microbial liquid unit or a fertilizer which I formulated, a pesticide which I formulated in LCNF. For first time for 2 weeks, you don't even need to touch it. You don't even need to check it. Only thing you need to do is, in other natural farmings, you have to keep it open or close it with cloth. Here in our method, we need to close it with a tight lid. That's it. Forget about it. Note down the date you set it up and wait for 2 weeks completion. From there onwards, you can keep harvesting it and keep adding material, keep adding water up to the brim, and again close the lid, leave it for 1 week, come back, keep harvesting. Once you set up, you keep on harvesting. This is another benefit because you need to reduce the efforts, right? So in a natural farming, if you have to do Jivamrutam, you can do it and just use it only one time. And again, next month or next 15 days after you have to use it, means again you have to prepare from the scratch. Here, nothing. One time you set it up, every week you can harvest. You can keep harvesting. Okay. Now, another difference what we do is not only just microbial liquid. In LCNF also, our microbial liquid gets prepared within 24 hours in hot weather time, means summer, up to 48 hours in winters. So that once you prepare, you have to use it when highly active state microbes are there. Whereas other than that, we have two fertilizers, liquid fertilizers, two liquid pesticides. Right? Why? You may ask. You have symbiotic relationship establishment by inoculating this microbial liquid. Okay, you have formulated that microbial liquid. You inoculate it and just forget about it. Then in this method as well, in our LCNF method as well, you have to wait for 3 years to. If you are a farmer in your field, to get high yields, you have to wait till the soil is regenerated into life. It takes time, 2 to 3 years, whatever. So to avoid that, my goal was to avoid it, right? So we inoculate with microbial liquid. Microbes start working on it. In the beginning, they may die as well because of the chemical residues happening, but some numbers they sustain, and we have to keep on giving. So what we do is we don't keep doing microbial liquid always. We do microbial liquid, along with that required nutrients for a stage where plant grows. Every plant has got 3 stages. One is growth stage, blooming stage, reproduction stage, where parts. So growth stage, stems, shoots come, they become branches, and then another new shoots come, they become sub branches. Another shoots come, they are tender branches, and then leaves. All this is growth stage. So plant grows. For that, mostly required nutrients are nitrogen and magnesium. Because more leaves, more green leaves are there, and each leaf has got many cells. Yeah, many cells. Any clue on what do you call? No? I'm giving 10 seconds for guessing. Please type it. I want some interaction as well now. In Telugu and Sanskrita, Patraharita it is called. I gave a hint as well now. No? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for your message. No one is interacting. No one is interacting. Starts from C. Okay. I can't buy much time here. No guesses? It's a chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. In Telugu, it is called Patraharitam. I'm sorry, in other languages, I don't know exactly, but Hindi Patraharita, Sanskrit also Patraharita. Anyway, a molecule formed by 5 nitrogen cells, 5 nitrogen cells with 1 magnesium cell. So 1 magnesium cell surrounded with 5 nitrogen cells. So this molecule is called as, yeah, I'm just waiting for you guys to type it here. No? Okay, chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll is the main thing to form a leaf. And even for photosynthesis as well, this chlorophyll is the main thing. Chlorophyll works for photosynthesis activity. So in a bottom line, what you need to have more growth is mainly nitrogen, good quantity of nitrogen, and then adequate quantity proportionate to this magnesium. So what we do is, while growing in a growth stage, we give these to help plant growing. Though microbes, inoculated microbes, through symbiotic relationship, they start working in a moderate way, but we try to help the plant growing out on its own, right? Why we must do it? Even after 3 years also we have to do it. Yes, we have to do it because we are growing our plants in pots in terrace garden. Okay, so after 3 years you will tell me what amazing result it gives if we follow continuously 3 years. But yeah, in a first crop you need high yields. Definitely you need your plant grown properly. So in growth stage we need nitrogen and magnesium. That is there in green leaves. So we use that green leaves. And weed also is a green leaf, weed, we pull it out along with roots. We use that weeds. And naturally, some different places in Bharat, we have in our surrounding areas, we have weed creepers grown everywhere. Pull them. Use this quantity to prepare your growth stage supporting nutrients based liquid, which is called growth stage fertilizer. It is LCNF. So we start with L for LCNF, G growth stage, F for fertilizer. So we use LGF for we dilute it 1:10 and give a soil application once in a week to get our plants grow properly, grow vigorously properly, strong, healthy. Once they grown, their usual habit is to start blooming. So till the first bloom shows, we give this LGF. And then once we see the first time blooming on our plants, again the requirement of nutrients is different now. What we need is for blooming, for more phosphorus we need. More phosphorus. In NPK, P is phosphorus. And like earlier, nitrogen and adequate amount of nitrogen, adequate amount of magnesium is needed, right? For growth stage. For blooming stage, adequate amount of phosphorus, huge amount of phosphorus, and along with that, adequate amount of sulfur is needed. So this helps the bloomed flowers stems stronger and flower stronger, so that fall of flowers is reduced and more blooming happens. The more blooming converted into more tender parts, right? The more tender parts converted into good fruit, and that fruit has to become huge size. So this is what it is. So in blooming stage, once you start observing first blooms on your plants, you have to give, if flower based, to get flowers, bring all the flower nutrients from the fallen flowers or any flowers used in an event and a function. May it be a marriage, may it be a puja, may it be a prayer, may it be something else, whatever it is. You extract those nutrients from those flowers and give them in again 1:10 ratio dilution. The blooms will be more. Even if they are not vegetable plants, all ornamental plants which are grown for blooms, it works very well. Right. Now these blooms, for example, we stick on to, we prioritize vegetables, growing good food, right? So if it is vegetable, like brinjal, tomato, whatever, the bloom start, we give this reproductive stage fertilizer, and these blooms have to be converted into tender parts. Those parts have to swell up and grow high in size. Yeah. Any parts to grow high or to get high yield or to get the size high, huge, your plant requirement changes again from growth stage to blooming stage to reproductive stage. Here you need good quantities of potassium, and then adequate quantities of calcium. So primary nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, then potassium. To support these three, for nitrogen, magnesium, for phosphorus, sulfur, for potassium, calcium. Phosphorus and sulfur, they strengthen the stem of the flower and the size of they increase the size of the flower, health of the flower, you can say. And then when it becomes, after pollination happens, if it doesn't happen naturally, you have to do manual pollination. I'm not going into that deep. Once the pollination happens, the flower becomes, or flower transforms into pod. That pod to grow, pod has, outer layer strong and inner material smooth, right? The fruit material. So the outer layer to form hard, calcium is needed, and the inner material to grow, to swell larger, potassium. So for that, we prepare from blooming stage onwards, we prepare another fertilizer for reproduction. That is where it is reproductive stage fertilizer. LCNF, L, reproductive stage fertilizer, LRF. In this, you have to add flowers, fallen flowers from a tree, or used flowers from any function or event or prayer or whatever, and vegetable peelings, fruit peelings, rotted vegetables, unused fruits, even insect bitten vegetables and fruits, anything. These all things, like flowers, fruits, fruit peelings, vegetables, vegetable peelings, all crushed and used as a material, and extract the nutrients from them and give them to these plants. Growth stage, reproductive stage fertilizer. So why chemical farming gets high yield than natural farming is? In chemical farming, they are giving what is needed there at the root level itself directly. Roots are taking without having to establish any symbiotic relationship with microbes. But here we are establishing the symbiotic relationship between microbes and plant roots. And at the same time, we are giving nutrients based on the stage itself. So growth stage fertilizer, LGF, is the alternative for urea in chemical farming. Nitrogen based fertilizer, any fertilizer in chemical farming, you are replacing that with LGF. And then in reproductive stage, any DAP or complex fertilizers, chemical based fertilizers, you are replacing with LRF. Problem solved. So for liquid microbial inoculation, we make one microbial liquid, which is LML, LCNF, microbial liquid, which once in a crop time we do. We inoculate soil in the beginning. We use that for accelerated biodigestion of any biomaterial. These are all things we do. Okay. And then two fertilizers. One is for growth stage, another one is for reproductive stage fertilizer. Good. We replaced chemical fertilizers and we are giving this LGF and in growth stage, and LRF in reproductive stage. Very good. What if pest attack is there? We need pesticides as well, have to be prepared naturally, right, with natural available material. So we got two pesticides in it. One is LNP, LCNF, neem leaf pesticide. So neem tree is called as Azadirachta indica. Azadirachta named a chemical which repels insects. So we take like neem oil. Neem oil, if you have to buy, it is expensive. But if you prepare yourself, it is free of cost. So neem leaf, you use neem leaf to extract these chemical properties in neem leaf and spray that in 1:20 ratio in the evenings once in a week. Will repel any pesticides not to come onto our plants and lay eggs. So they don't come, they don't lay eggs. If you keep practicing once in a week spray of this LNP, neem leaf pesticide. Okay, for some reason, even though you are doing surrounding farmers, surrounding terrace gardeners may not use these, but whatever the pest they got attacked, we also got, because they slowly even though we are spraying, they slowly get used to that power and they might come. Whatever the reason, pest attack happened. Then also we need some kind of pesticide, right? So that pesticide, we make it with a sulfur rich material, which is nothing but onion peels, onion based, garlic and onion based waste, right? Onion, you have a root and shoot side. So both we cut and we peel onions to use onions to our curries. So all these onion waste, even garlic waste, all we take and extract the nutrients or chemical valued or pest killing nutrients and chemicals there. From there we extract it into liquid form, and that is liquid pesticide. LCNF, onion peel pesticide, LOP. So LNP is for precautionary measure, not to get pests attacked to your plants. Even after like attack happen or infestation happens, to kill the pest from small insects to large insects, any pest you can kill with this LOP. The sulfur itself works very well on these. Okay, so LOP is another liquid. So we have 4 liquids: 2 pesticides, 2 fertilizers, 2 pesticides, and one more liquid. Once in a crop or once in a while we make LML, that is microbial liquid. So all other natural farming methods are saying you to keep preparing this microbial liquid and give it. There are very less number of nutrients and more dependency on the symbiotic relationship between microbes and plant roots. Whereas LCNF, we make this relationship as well established, But to accelerate the growth and reproduction, naturally, we give LGF to growth, LRF to high yields, and then LNP and LOP for. Okay, I have been using one word while explaining these all four things. Extraction. That is what the process I formulated. How we extract. It is like bio extraction. Means something is there, some material is there. From that, you have to extract. There are three different ways of extraction. One way is, in general, I'm talking, not in this process. Any material, if you mix salt, that material oozes water out inside. Along with that water, all the nutrients also come out. Best example, if you pour salt on onion pieces, chopped onion, it gets water out. Any vegetable as well, if you put salt, if you sprinkle salt and keep it like that, water oozes. But salt we can't use in plants heavily, so that is gone. That is one sort of extraction method. Another one, sweet, sugar, jaggery. If you mix jaggery with that, Korean natural farming does that. That also oozes material. Of course, we need to ferment it for long times to get everything. That is expensive. Another one is microbial way of extraction. You can use aerobic and anaerobic. If you use aerobic, you have to keep mixing every day, 3 times, not less than 2 times, morning, evening, and mostly afternoon. To avoid, I said anaerobic. So we use anaerobic, and this extraction method, if you take a container, fill any material which is used to extract nutrients from it, fill that to 1/3, till 1/3, very tight. Yeah, and then pour some cooked rice, a handful or 2 handfuls based on the container size, and then same size of forest soil, leaf mold. I will explain you in a bit. Add that and put a heavy slate stone, yeah, like a kadapa slabs or kind of. Yeah, nothing is there. Find some flat stones and put them on that, and pour water or fill water up to the brim. Even after filling up to the brim, the water goes into the gaps of this material. So make sure after a while you add full water, and then tightly fix a lid and forget about 2 weeks. You will get that particular fertilizer or pesticide. This is nothing but extraction. What happens is, in this forest soil or leaf mold, you have microbes. Both the microbes you have, aerobic and anaerobic, naturally available, that eats sugars from the cooked rice. You can use any starch as well, right? And replicate and activate, and it works on that material to extract all the nutrients within it into the water, into the liquid form, and mix it in water. That is nothing but extraction. So if you take LGF, if you want to prepare LGF, make a permanent container, maybe a bucket or a tub or a blue barrel drum. But the constraint is you need to have a cap. Tight cap is very good. At least if you don't have tight cap, at least fully covered. Nothing is there, then you can find one waterproof membrane, put that and use it the thread to knot it tightly so that it will be happy. There won't be any pressure from inside, don't worry. So these microbes, aerobic microbes, because we are not allowing air into it, aerobic microbes die. These anaerobic microbes invade on any leftover microbes which are aerobic, and they strengthen, and they keep eating or consuming sugars in the cooked rice as well as in the material as well. And eh, what they do, they work for us to extract the nutrients from that material. So for growth stage, you need to put all these green leaves, any weeds, all these things. For reproductive stage fertilizer, to make reproductive stage fertilizer, flowers, veg peels, veg, rotten veg or unused veg, fruits, unused fruits, fruit peelings, all these things. Here, if you want non-blooming, non-flowering plants which are supposed to flower or bloom, if you make exclusively with flowers, LRF with flowers, it stimulates blooming as well. Proven. Our members, our WhatsApp group members, they can endorse this. Okay. So this is the extraction process what we got, and any material, not only these things what I said. If you feel like, okay, such material is there, why don't we use it, it's an effective one, why don't we use it for our plants, do the same thing. Say extraction process is same. 3/4 of the container you need that material, leaf mold or forest soil, and then cooked rice and water, and make sure water is not chlorinated. There is no room for any chemical things in here. So water, bore water or water oozed from AC outlets, any dehumidifiers, such kind of, or rainwater is the best. No, sir, we don't have anything except the municipal supplied water, which is chlorinated. Then you stock it for a couple of days without putting any lid. Then this chlorination effect goes off. So use that water, but don't use it directly from the tap supplied by municipal water supply. So this is what it is. So in this LML, when we do it in the beginning of the crop, we use it for seed preparation or seed treatment. If you do that, any ground level viral and bacterial diseases, it fights for us and sprouts good. Once seedling comes, from there onwards or then onwards, you have to start giving LGF 1:10 dilution into soil application. If you want to spray, if heavy rains are there, you can't give water, then if you want to spray, 1:20, and water must be done morning time, Sprays must be done evening time. Anything, even pesticides as well, right? And then once seedlings grown up, you can plant them in the place where you want to grow the actual crop, main crop, I could say. There, there also continue LGF up to the first bloom appears, first flowers. Suppose if you take michi plant, one or two plants, flowers come in. From then onwards, LRF, mixed LRF is okay because it is vegetable, right? So finally, you will get high yields from the first crop itself. This is what LCNF is. Very simple, but to keep you understand what is its what is how it is different from other natural farming methods, and how effectively it works for us. Why should we believe it? All these things. And 5 years ago, I formulated this, and first 3 years I haven't shared this with anyone until I completed my testing in terrace level, in backyard or kitchen garden level, and in farming field level. I did that test. I was in 1.5 years, I was in Andhra Pradesh, India, in fields. I tested it. After proper, after getting proper or expected results, then I started giving or sharing this knowledge to the terrace garden people mainly. Of course, some farmers also are following. Terrace gardeners are more knowledgeable, and they can understand it more than actual farmer. So many gardeners are you following this, and some hardcore followers also are there. I don't want to name them. Of course, you know very well, Sangeeta, my sister is following it, and she helps me in as a co-admin in our WhatsApp groups as well. And again, after she and other gardeners, other LCNF followers, after using it for 1 year, then they came back to say what the excellent results they got, and they I'm very proud to say they have thrown everything out, and they stopped buying anything from outside. Okay, so this is what it is. Now let's concentrate on our questions. It has been 1 hour's time we have used so far. 10-15 minutes we will spend with whatever the questions you guys have got. Right. I'm not wishing each and every person, but I'm trying to read the messages if any questions are there. So, Catherine Pocock, where are you from? Well, I'm basically from Andhra Pradesh, India, origination, but I have been living in London, the UK, for more than 15 years. So my research went through in both the countries, and results are successful in both the countries. Excuse me. Uh, Namaste, Sangitama. Okay. Namaste, Fanindra Rao P. Subhashini Narayan Rao. Namaste, Ma. Vijay Pratipati. Namaste, Vijay Garu. Right. Uh, am I not getting your questions posted here, or should I feel happy that I have explained you guys properly and you could understand it very well without having any questions? Excuse me. Here it is, weather change. We are slowly going into cold climate. Sore throat is there, head is aching, and some sort of temperature, high temperatures in body. But I can't avoid meeting you guys. Namaste, Bharati Amma. Well, I haven't given you information on what is this forest soil and or leaf mold. Okay, the nature is great actually, and nature has everything automated without our invention. There is a natural automation system in nature to get things done. So one of the thing is the plant material which is fallen in fall as a layer has to be biodigested to get those nutrients reused as a recycle, right? Nature recycling. For that, the nature has these microbes. So every season, material fall is there from plants or trees, and layer by layer. If you wipe these any under any tree where it is undisturbed, if you wipe off the top layer and see in the bottom near to the soil, you will see a spongy soil, which is nothing but biodigested leaves, fallen leaves. That biodigestion happens by microbes. That is what the material we need to collect. So if you go to your forest, definitely you will find fine material. If you don't have forest nearby, if you are traveling somewhere on your own vehicle, stop by at a on that road itself at a place where you can see an undisturbed tree with fallen leaves around it. Just go there and check. You will see a spongy biodigested compost kind of material. That naturally composted material, which is nothing but leaf mold, we call it as, or forest soil. Undisturbed tree means it's a forest kind. But not necessary to find a forest and just go there to get this collected. So many different places you will find. In a worst condition, I will tell you one worst situation. In cities, you have parks. Maintaining people, they collect all the fallen leaves every day by using this cleaning process and put them as a heap somewhere. If it is at least 1 2 years aged one, if you go to the bottom layer of that heap, that is nothing but that forest soil or leaf mold. I used a word called composted. Don't get confused. Every compost, even if it is made from dry leaves, may not be microbial rich material. So make sure this is what you have to collect. And first time when you collected it, test it whether it is mm, reliable one or not. Means microbes are there or not, which is nothing but you have to prepare LML, microbial liquid. Take a cloth, put some cooked rice, same quantity of this collected forest soil or leaf mold, and 1 spoon of sea salt, the crystal salt, sea salt, and then tie it as a pack and take non-chlorinated water filled bucket or whatever a container, put this pack into it, leave it for 1 hour. Just try to, after 1 hour, just take it and massage it slowly and squeeze the liquids oozed into that liquid, and just again put the pack into the water and pack it for 24 hours. Normally it will be 24 hours. Sometimes in cold climates it may go to 48 hours. In the UK kind of cold weather, it took 5 days, 7 days as well for me. In summers, it took 48 hours to 50 hours for me. But in Bharat, 24 hours to 48 hours is sufficient. How do you say this is right? LML would be greatly formed or fermented, and if it is successful fermentation, white circles like white kind of layer is formed, circled around this pack in the surface layer. If it is not formed, microbial strength is not there. If microbes are there, definitely it should be formed. So microbial action makes that bubbles, small bubbles happen. That bubbles come up and form that circle layer. So this is what leaf mold are naturally composted dry leaves in the forest or forest soil. In Chennai kind of cities, you can find easily where the old or the residential layouts which are not built with the plots are free without building any new constructions, and it is undisturbed for a long time. There you can easily find this. Okay, please don't rely on please don't rely on what do you call just dry leaves compost bought from online or bought from any gardener materials seller or something. If you really want to see that, try doing LML first. If you succeeded, then use that to make your fertilizers and pesticides, LGF, LRF as fertilizers, uh, LNP and LOP as pesticides. Right? Okay. Sister Sangeeta is asking about pruning rules. Sorry, that is a different thing here, and we don't have much time to explain. It needs a long time to explain. So we'll see in next live session. We can catch up with more different topics, and I will try my level best to share knowledge on those topics. And any live session, when you come in, you can start asking questions on any point. After completing the questions of the particular live session point topic, we can take it up, provided time is there. But I'm not taking this pruning rules topic asked by Sangeeta sister in this session. Let's keep it for LCNF related today. We have consumed 1 hour 21 minutes time by now, and I think we are good to close this live session. Well, I'm trying my level best to put my English accent towards Indianized, so that all my brothers and sisters from Bharat can understand properly. That is where I'm speaking or delivering my words a bit slowly, and trying my English accent little neutral towards Asian people understandability, right? So bear with me with that, and most of my concentration is in Bharat residents. I started this for Andhra and Telugu speaking people. This is my first session in English to give the same benefit as my fellow Telugu people to other language speakers as well within India and around the world. But I wanted to keep my voice as with neutral accent. Thank you so much for understanding and coping up with me, and thanks for your thanks for joining here and spending your time by putting great trust on my on me to learn something or some knowledge from my session. Good. Hopefully the mother nature gives you great strength and health to do better things, and to do that, grow your own food, eat amrutahara processed by that own grown vegetables and fruits, and enjoy healthy life until your journey on this world. Thank you so much once again. Jai Mother Nature.